The silence, that's where it starts. It's not the screaming matches or the doors slamming that break her. It's the sudden, deafening silence of a man who finally stopped trying. You see, a woman's psychology is built on a feedback loop of attention. When you were there, giving your all, being her rock, and handling every single mood swing, you weren't a person to her anymore. You were a utility. You were like the Wi-Fi or the electricity. She only noticed you when you stopped working. But now that you've pulled back, now that you've stopped sending those good morning texts that she used to leave on read for 3 hours, the silence is starting to scream. She wakes up, checks her phone, and for the first time in months, there's no notification from you. No, how's your day? No, I'm here if you need me. At first, she feels a sense of relief. She thinks, finally, some space. But give it a week, give it two. That space starts to feel like a void. The freedom she wanted starts to feel like being lost at sea without a compass. She realizes she didn't want freedom from you. She wanted the freedom to disrespect you and still have you wait at the finish line. But the finish line just packed up and walked away. If this is hitting you deep, if you've been that man who gave everything only to be treated like nothing, then listen closely. And before we go deeper into the dark side of this regret, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You need this truth, and I'm here to give it to you raw. Let's talk about the replacement phase. This is where she tries to prove to herself that you were the problem. She's out at the clubs, she's back on the apps, she's getting all that new validation. Her DMs are flooded with guys saying exactly what she wants to hear. But here's the kicker. She quickly realizes that attention is cheap, but devotion is expensive. She meets the exciting guy, the one she thought was an upgrade. He's got the looks, he's got the talk, but by 2 a.m., he's ghosting her. He doesn't care if she got home safe. He doesn't know how she likes her coffee or what her face looks like when she's actually stressed. Suddenly, the memory of you, the man who actually listened, the man who protected her peace, starts to haunt her. She's sitting in a room full of people, but she's looking for your face. She's comparing every hollow, shallow interaction to the depth of what you provided. She starts to realize she fumbled a real one for a bunch of temporary distractions. The psychological weight of that realization is heavy, man. It's the moment she realizes the grass wasn't greener. It was just spray-painted plastic. Now comes the nostalgia trap. This is the part that breaks her spirit. She'll be driving and a song comes on, that one song you guys used to blast with the windows down. Or she'll smell a cologne in a crowd that smells exactly like you. Her brain, which used to focus on your flaws to justify her distance, now starts filtering those out. All she remembers is the way you looked at her when she was at her worst. She remembers how you were the only one who didn't fold when things got hard. This is where the emotional floodgates open. She starts looking at old photos, zooming in on your smile, wondering how she could have been so blind. She misses the safety. In a world full of predators and players, you were her sanctuary, and she burned it down just to see if the smoke would look pretty. Now she's standing in the ashes, shivering, realizing she's the one who's cold. She realizes that while she was playing hard to get, she ended up hard to want. The test always follows the pain. This is the breadcrumbing stage. She's feeling the loss, her ego is bruised, and she needs to know if she still has a leash on you. This is the hey text, the I saw this and thought of you meme, the accidental Instagram story like, it's not love, bro, it's a pulse check. She wants to see if you're still sitting in that same dark room waiting for her. If you reply instantly, the mystery is gone, the regret vanishes, and she goes right back to taking you for granted. But if you don't, if you stay focused on your grind, your gym, your brothers, and your own happiness, that's when the regret turns into a permanent scar. She realizes she no longer has access to the best version of you. She sees you leveling up, looking better, earning more, and genuinely smiling without her, and it kills her. It proves that she wasn't the main character in your life. She was just a guest who overstayed her welcome and forgot to say thank you. The final stage is the long-term ghost. This is when she has to live with the fact that she traded a king for the streets. She watches from the sidelines as you build a life that she was supposed to be a part of. Every milestone you hit, the new car, the promotion, the new girl who actually appreciates the way you hold a door open, is a dagger to her ego. She realizes that you didn't lose her, she lost the privilege of having a man who was willing to bleed for her. For every guy watching this, your value is not a negotiable price. If she doesn't see it, don't lower it. Just take the product off the shelf and find a better market. You are the prize. You have always been the prize. Sometimes you just have to let her feel the cold for a while so she can finally understand how much warmth you are actually providing. Stay solid, stay focused, and never let a woman who took you for granted see you sweat. Let her miss you, let her regret you, but most importantly, let her watch you become the man she can no longer afford. The 3 a.m. realization, that's when the mask finally cracks. See, during the day, she's got her distractions. She's got the notifications, the likes, and the superficial validation from guys who wouldn't even hold an umbrella for her in a storm. But when the world goes quiet and she's staring at the ceiling, that's when your absence starts to physically ache. She starts realizing that the excitement she chased was just chaos, and the boredom she felt with you was actually peace. In female psychology, there's this concept of the safety anchor, but you were her anchor. She felt she could sail as far away as she wanted because she believed you'd always be there to pull her back to shore. But now she's looking for the rope and realizes it's been cut. She's drifting in a sea of low-value interactions, realizing that the freedom she traded you for is just a cold, empty expanse of nothingness. She starts to miss the way you challenge her, the way you didn't let her get away with her nonsense, but still loved her through it. She realizes that while she was looking for a vibe, she threw away a vision. And if you're that man right now, the one who's finally pulled up his anchor to find better waters, keep listening. This is the part where she realizes the gravity of her mistake. And if you want to keep receiving these raw truths about the game, make sure you're subscribed. We don't sugarcoat anything here. Let's talk about the market crash. Every woman who takes a good man for granted thinks her market value is infinite. She thinks because 50 guys are sliding into her DMs, she has 50 options. But the moment she tries to convert that attention into commitment, the market crashes. She finds out the hard way that the guys who are hotter or richer than you don't want to build a life with her. They just want to add her to a list. She goes from being a priority in your world to being a maybe in theirs. This comparison is a slow poison. She starts looking at the way you used to protect her reputation, the way you used to plan for a future, and she realizes she's now just a situationship to a guy who doesn't even remember her middle name. The regret starts to settle in her bones. She starts to miss the boring nights of just talking, the way you'd look at her when she wasn't wearing any makeup, and the absolute certainty that you had her back. She realizes she traded a diamond for a handful of glitter, and the glitter is starting to wash off. Then comes the social media war. She'll start posting thirst traps or photos of her out at fancy dinners, trying to trigger a reaction from you. She's desperate to see if she still has a psychological grip on your mind. She's checking her scene list every 10 minutes, hoping to see your handle. But when she sees that you aren't watching, when she sees that you've gone completely dark, or worse, that you're posting photos of yourself actually winning, hitting a new PR in the gym, closing a deal, or laughing with people who actually value you, her heart sinks. It's an ego-shattering moment. She realizes that your life didn't stop when she left. It actually got better. The main character energy she thought she held was just a delusion. She was a supporting role in your story, and you just recast the part. This is where she starts to feel disposable, a feeling she once tried to project onto you. The tables haven't just turned, they've been flipped over and burned. The grave of regret is where she eventually lands. This is months, maybe even a year later, when the newness of her life has worn off and the reality of her choices has set in. She sees you from a distance, maybe through a mutual friend or a stray post, and she doesn't recognize the man you've become. You're sharper, stronger, more focused. You've got that post-breakup glow-up that only comes from a man who took his pain and turned it into power. She realizes that she didn't just lose a boyfriend, she lost a legacy. She sees the way other women are now looking at you, women who have the maturity to see the value she was too blind to recognize. The missing you phase turns into a permanent state of what if? What if she had just listened? What if she hadn't let her ego run the show? What if she had just appreciated the man who was willing to give her the world? But what if is a ghost that doesn't pay rent? For the men watching this, understand that her regret is a product of your growth. If you stay the same, she'll never miss you. She'll just feel justified in leaving you. But if you evolve, if you become the best version of yourself, her regret becomes her shadow. You don't need to say a word. Your success, your silence, and your absolute refusal to be a backup plan are the loudest messages you can ever send. Let her sit with the silence. Let her navigate the streets she thought were so much better than the home you built. You aren't a revolving door. You're a destination. And if she wasn't willing to do the work to stay there, she doesn't deserve to find her way back. Keep building, keep grinding, and let the weight of her own choices be the only thing she has left to hold on to at night. You're the prize, bro. Never forget the price of admission to your life. This is the final nail in the coffin. The moment when missing you stops being a phase and starts being a permanent sentence. C. Every woman who takes a king for granted holds on to one final delusion, the belief that she can always come back. She thinks there's a reset button hidden somewhere in your heart. But the end scene begins when she realizes that button has been deactivated. She watches you from the shadows of her own regret, and she sees a man she no longer recognizes. You aren't the guy who was begging for her attention anymore. You aren't the guy who was making excuses for her disrespect. You've become a stranger with a familiar face, and that distance is more painful than any argument you ever had. She realizes that while she was out finding herself, she lost the only person who actually knew who she was. This is the stage of psychological closure where she has to accept that she isn't the one who got away, you are. And if you're reaching that level of strength where you can finally walk away without looking back, you're doing exactly what you need to do. If this series has helped you find your worth again, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're finishing this journey together, man to man. The ultimate psychological dagger is the new woman. Nothing breaks a woman who took you for granted more than seeing you being appreciated by someone who has the maturity she lacked. She sees you with someone who doesn't play games, someone who smiles when you walk into the room, someone who treats your loyalty like a treasure instead of a burden. It kills her because it proves that you weren't hard to love. She was just incapable of loving you correctly. She has to watch another woman build a life on the foundation you tried to give her. She sees the dates, the laughter, and the genuine peace in your eyes, and she realizes she was the chaos that was holding you back. This isn't about revenge, it's about the universe rebalancing the scales. She chose the streets, and the streets gave her exactly what they always give: cold, hard reality. Meanwhile, you chose yourself, and the world gave you a partner who actually sees the man you've become. Let's talk about the accountability mirror. There comes a night, maybe years from now, when she's tired of the fun, tired of the temporary situationships, and she finally has to look in the mirror. She has to admit to herself that she blew it. No cap. This is the heaviest burden a woman can carry, the knowledge that she had a real one, and she let her ego, her friends, or her desire for cheap thrills ruin it. She realizes that the guys she thought were better were just mirrors reflecting her own insecurities. She misses the security of your name on her phone. She misses the way you protected her from the world, and even from herself. But when she reaches out, she finds a wall of silence. Not a hateful silence, but a "I don't even know you anymore" silence. That's the most powerful position a man can ever be in. You aren't angry, you aren't bitter, you're just done. You've closed the book and she's left staring at the back cover, wondering how she let the best story of her life end so badly. The end scene for you, the man, is different. You stand at the top of the mountain you've been climbing since the day she left. You've got the career, the body, the mindset, and the peace. You look back at the version of you that was crying over her, the version of you that felt taken for granted, and you realize that her leaving was the best thing that ever happened to you. Her disrespect was the fuel for your fire. Her absence was the space you needed to grow. You realize that she didn't break you, she made you. You've become the man that 99% of women would kill to be with, and it's all because you had the balls to let go of the one who didn't want to stay. You don't hate her anymore. In fact, you might even be grateful, because without her taking you for granted, you never would have realized that you were far too valuable to ever be treated that way again. So here's the final word for every brother watching this. Let her miss you. Let her realize her mistake in the middle of a crowded bar or in the silence of her bedroom. Let her live with the what-ifs while you live with the I-dids. You are the main character of your life, not a supporting actor in hers. Build your empire, guard your peace, and never, ever give your heart to someone who doesn't know how to handle it with respect. The game is over, and you're the one holding the trophy. She chose the temporary, you chose the eternal. Now go out there and be the man that no woman would ever dare to take for granted again. Stay focused, stay dangerous, and keep leveling up. We're done here.